Let's be honest for a second. Why are your AI agents failing? We're watching organizations pour massive, literally game-changing amounts of money into agentic AI, expecting a total revolution. Yet, the painful reality for so many leaders right now is that these cutting-edge tools are just struggling to deliver real ROI. They misinterpret commands, they make mistakes, or they just stall out entirely.
And look, the data absolutely backs up that frustration. Gartner just released some fascinating research on generative and agentic AI. And guess what? Only a tiny minority of organizations are actually reporting significant value from these tools today. The primary culprits? Hallucinations and a severe lack of tangible business impact. The technology is incredibly powerful, no doubt about it, but something fundamental is breaking down when we try to apply it to real-world corporate operations.
So, welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to break down the architectural root cause behind this widespread AI failure. But more importantly, we're going to introduce a concrete, actionable framework to solve it, drawing directly from Gartner's latest research on the context layer and integrating it seamlessly with the Integrated Process Excellence, or IPE framework.
Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the AI agent value gap, then look at the missing context layer. After that, we'll dive into the 3 core context components, map out engineering the context pipeline, and finally wrap up with why it's process first, tool second.
All right, let's jump right into part 1, the AI agent value gap.
To really get why this is happening, imagine hiring an absolute genius. I mean, the smartest person on the planet. But they suffer from total corporate amnesia. They don't know your company's rules, your metrics, or anything about your past outcomes. Without that critical business context, all that expensive raw intelligence is effectively useless. It's just a lot of really noisy guessing.
Which brings us to part 2, the missing context layer.
So what actually is a context layer? Well, Gartner defines it as the architectural component that curates, integrates, and delivers the exact knowledge an AI agent needs to interpret inputs and make decisions. Think of it as the bridge between raw intelligence and actual business alignment. By 2027, Gartner projects that organizations prioritizing this layer, meaning their agents interpret information by its true semantic meaning rather than just matching keywords, are going to see meaningfully higher accuracy and materially lower costs.
But here's the catch, and honestly, you cannot miss this point. You can't just go out and buy a context layer. No vendor sells this off the shelf. It has to be custom engineered from your own organization's tacit, often undocumented operational knowledge. Getting all that know-how out of your employees' heads and into a structured machine-readable format isn't some quick IT ticket. It is a massive process deployment challenge.
Moving on to part 3, the 3 core context components.
It's really amazing how smoothly Gartner's requirements map directly to IPEC's methodology. The first component is semantics, giving the AI a shared business glossary so it actually understands meaning. Well, IPEC builds this naturally during step 2 of its deployment. Define the process. It sets up a governed business ontology using a very strict hierarchy: area, activity, element, along with CPOC diagrams. Boom, your AI inherits that semantic alignment automatically.
The second component is operational state. An agent needs to know what is happening in the business right now in real time. Without IPE, it's just drinking from an undifferentiated fire hose of data. But within IPE, operational state is locked down in Step 5, measure and control the process. By utilizing strict KPI cause and effect tables, the AI agent gets a perfectly governed real-time definition of the current state, complete with control limits.
And building on that, the third core component is provenance. This is all about tracing data lineage. You need to know exactly why an agent made a decision and what the outcome was. IPE formalizes this through Step 6, continuous improvement, using the SMEA, or Success Mode and Effects Analysis framework. It creates a closed-loop trace connecting input variables to process variables to output variables. It ensures every single AI action is accountable, traceable, and feeds right back into the process definition.
Let's dive into part 4, engineering the context pipeline.
Gartner identifies a simple 3-step context engineering pipeline here: retrieve, organize, and select. The core challenge is getting the AI the right knowledge efficiently so its context window isn't completely overwhelmed by sheer noise. And once again, this workflow maps flawlessly to IPE's sequential deployment steps. Let's look at exactly how.
First up is retrieve. The AI needs to pull relevant information. IPE handles this effortlessly in Step 3, document the process.
Because IPE has meticulously documented the process elements into a structured hierarchy, those become the exact machine-readable knowledge objects the agent pulls from. It completely replaces chaotic, undocumented tacit knowledge with instantly retrievable process records.
Next is organize. Once retrieved, that data has to have structure. Gartner's organize step is answered perfectly by IPE's step 4, communicate the process. IPE's communication artifacts arrange the retrieved knowledge into highly specific role-based views. It lays out the exact sequences and constraints the agent needs to be aware of before it's allowed to take any action at all.
Finally, we have select. How does the agent know what data matters most right this second? IPE answers this in step 5, measure and control. By using IPE's KPI control limits and cause and effect tables, the AI is handed clear prioritization logic. It knows exactly how to filter out the background noise and focus solely on the most critical data points required for the task.
Which brings us to our final section, Part 5, Process First, Tool Second.
Let's see how this builds into an actual deployment strategy. Gartner gives a huge warning here against trying to build a massive context layer for the whole enterprise all at once. Instead, you need to iterate. Organizations can achieve this using IPE CIP packs. These are sector-specific templates that let you deploy incrementally, functional area by functional area. Because they have consistent semantics built right in, you can scale this perfectly across business units without reinventing the wheel every single time.
When you step back and look at all this cutting-edge research from Gartner, it completely validates a central thesis that John Kokorchat and IP Services have held for over 30 years. It's elegantly simple. Data plus process equals AI ROI. Disciplined process deployment isn't just a nice-to-have anymore. It is the absolute non-negotiable prerequisite for achieving reliable, trustworthy, and profitable AI outcomes.
So as you evaluate your own agentic AI strategy, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. Are you just buying another AI tool and hoping for a miracle, or are you actually engineering a context layer that guarantees results? If you're tired of corporate amnesia holding your tech back and you're ready to engineer a real solution, treat this as a process deployment initiative first. Contact John Chachat at IPE Services to get started on mapping your organization's context layer today.